Mind on Rails is a web application that I created to help you learn Ruby on Rails. It's a knowledge exchange note-taking tool that helps you capture all the things that you learn through your journey with learning Ruby on Rails. So here's the landing page where of course you can sign in or sign up. Then the page goes on to talk about some of the features of the software and a little bit about the web application and a screen capture. And then a call to action here, having you sign up and some contact information down below. To really get a good sense of what the purpose of the web application is, I wrote an article and published it in Medium called A Teacher's 2 Cents When Learning Ruby on Rails. So it's a quick 8-minute read. And I really do recommend that you go through and read this, and this will give you kind of the background information on what these stacks, the learning stacks, are all about. I have these 16 learning stacks. So the purpose of the web application is for you to be able to create notes around anything that you want to remember around Ruby on Rails, and then to be able to quickly access them through the search functionality. So if you go into My Notes, this is going to show, of course, all of the notes that you've taken thus far. And so you can very quickly create a note, and you have your learning stacks over on the left-hand side, the 16 learning stacks, the title, the body, and the notes can be formatted with Markdown. All right, so this note now has a title and a body section using some of that Markdown formatting. And let's associate it with a couple different learning stacks. We'll associate it with GEMS and with Rails General. This note has to do with devise. And then by default, the notes are all private. They're your notes. But if you'd like, you can make any note public facing, and we'll click this to make it public facing. We'll go ahead and save our work. All right, and so now we're in this note, and you can see it's public and has to do with Rails General and GEMS. And there's my name and the created and updated date and the information there that we created in the note. And so now that's a singular note. If I go back to my notes, and here's a list of all my notes that I've created, and there are many of them, and this is all paginated through Will Paginate. And you can search through your notes to find anything that you'd like. And I search under devise, and I have 3 results that are my notes that I've created. Here are those stacks, those 16 learning stacks, and these give you a description of the 16 learning stacks. So now we're in the command line stack, and here's a description of the stack, and here are any notes that are associated with that stack that are tagged with that particular stack, and it's going to show any of your notes that are tagged. For example, this is one of my notes. It's one of my private notes, but then also any public-facing notes that are tagged with that stack. This is one from another user. The trending tab is going to show all public-facing notes based on an algorithm that's associated with the ability to vote a note up or down. Also, any note that is yours or public-facing, you can make a flashcard. And so you'll go to My Flashcards, and here are the flashcards that I have. These are for notes that you really want to have around rote memorization around. And so, for example, here's the title of these 3 individual notes, and if I click on any one of them, it will expose the content, and so it gives you that kind of like 2 sides of the flashcard feature. And again, this is for any of your notes. You see this is my note, and then also any public-facing note. So this is a note from another user. There's your search functionality where you can search all your notes or public-facing notes. And then, of course, when you're in the search, you're going to be able to searching just through your notes. And the web application is completely responsive. So here we are looking at the iPhone version of the web app. And here is the landing page, completely responsive. And we have our top navigation, and we can look at our notes, flashcards, stacks, etc. If I look at the notes, you'll see that all my notes are in here as well. And so here's a quick peek at the gem file from Mind on Rails, some additional gems I added for testing and for enhanced functionality. And then lastly, when you are signed out as an anonymous user, you can access the stacks and see all the stacks to get an understanding what the stacks are about, as well as any of the public-facing notes. Now you can see all of the trending notes as well, and you can search through all of the public-facing notes. And so that's a quick tour of Mind on Rails.